Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. What a great day it was on Saturday for the Nicholls State Colonels and for all of our Bayou region. Nicholls goes out on national television and takes care of Incarnate Word. Let's get to the highlights. It was a military flyover that opened the day on Saturday for the Nicholls Colonels. A beautiful but very hot day, and the Colonel faithful came out in full support, pretty much filling up the stands at John L. Guidry for the first game of the year, Week 0 in the NCAA, the first game played on the mainland here in the United States. Colonel's defense bent a little on that first drive by UIW, but held them to a field goal. Will Farris of the Cardinals hits this 24-yarder, makes the score UIW 3, Nicholls 0. But the Colonels go right down the field. They answer a 38-yard field goal by Gabe Showalter, makes it 3-3. And then maybe the play of the game. Cornerback Ty Morris jumps this out route, and he returns it for the touchdown, 29 yards. Colonels take a 10-3 lead, and they never look back. The Colonels get the ball back, and Deuce Hogan dumps this off to Mikael Brock. He makes a nice run down the sideline, picking up big yardage for the Colonels. But that drive eventually stalls for Nicholls, and Gabe Showalter comes back in. He hits a 38-yarder, and the Colonels go in at halftime up on Incarnate Word, 13-3. In the third quarter, the Colonels gave Incarnate Word a little bit of hope. This punt muffed deep inside of Incarnate Word territory. The Cardinals come up with the ball. They can advance it. But again, the Nicholls defense comes up strong. They hold Incarnate Word to a field goal, a short 24-yarder by Farris, 16-3 at this point. And then the Big Red defense takes over. Anthony Rogers on this interception as UIW was threatening. That turnover led to the second biggest play for the Colonels. This an offensive one. Deuce Hogan throwing it downfield to Karaz Johnson for the 55-yard touchdown. After the extra point, Colonels up 20-3. At this point, it was pretty much a lock for the Colonels, but the defense comes up strong a couple of more times. Ethan Lee, the E.D. White product, has this big interception in the fourth quarter, giving the Colonels the ball. After the Colonels stall on offense, the defense comes up big again. This, a fumble recovery by Jake Delmato, seals the deal. Colonels sit on it. They go on to win it. A terrific opening game win for the Colonels. No problems with UIW. They win it 20-6. 1-0 for the Colonels as they take on Troy next week. We were fortunate we get to hear Coach Tommy Rybacki talk a little bit about the big win.
Just so proud of everybody and their hard work that went into this win. I mean, it truly is the culmination of 8 months of preparing and for this big game, almost exclusively for this game in the early season. And I couldn't be more proud of the coaches on our staff, the players on our team, and it's incredible to see what they do every day. So it's no real surprise to see how they played today, and I think everyone can be proud of that. Yeah, incredible effort, and Darian Monroe, our defensive coordinator, and the defensive staff put together a great defensive plan, and they executed well. I thought Coach called a great game on defense, and our players just played, so well. And then I also think the thing that goes into that, it's complementary football. The offense was able to possess the ball, move the ball, and all of that plays a role in us having a good defensive outing. Yeah, very proud, and it took a lot of people to make that happen. And we had a strong fall camp. We took 3 weeks where we worked on just ourselves and preparing for the early season, and then 2 weeks of preparing for this game. But throughout all 5 weeks, we're preparing for situational football, and that came up a bunch in this game, and I'm proud of the players for executing in those times. Anytime you move the ball against a good football team, it's going to be tough to finish the drive. And I think the credit to Incarnate Word in some of those red zone situations. We knew they were strong defensively in the red zone, and I think if you look back at what they've been able to do over the last few years on defense, credit to the coaches on that staff for what they were able to, produce in those situations. It's great for the entire team. It's great for everybody involved because, it proves to them that their hard work pays off, and that's exactly what it does. Yeah, I'm proud of everybody on the team. There's a bunch of guys, offense, defense, special teams, who all wanted the big moment. And some of those guys on defense are veteran guys who are comfortable in that setting. You think about Hayden Shaheen, Ty Marsh, Lawrence Sullivan, all those guys, Joe Mason and Rashid. I mean, there's too many to even name that are made for those type of situations. They work very hard to be prepared for those settings. And then, they go out there and they execute and they want those opportunities. Yeah, I thought it was huge. I thought the lead up to the game was well managed by Mr. JT, our athletic director. I think he did a great job preparing for this game, preparing the community and the university for the game. And I thought the turnout was great, and we appreciate all the support and all the lead up to the game, too. There's so many things that went in that happened before today that just showed support for our players and our team. And we talk a lot about community here. It's so big, such a big part of our fabric here at Nicholls, and I thought it showed out today.
Well, that was one win. It was a great win, but you got to get back on the horse and you got to make it happen. They have Troy this week. Very fortunate to actually talk to Coach Rybacki a little bit this week about those things that have to happen to take on and beat Troy, those things that was so great about Saturday that carry over to the future. But when you're on national television and the spotlight is sort of on you, it was A+. I mean, everything about the day, except for maybe the heat, was really good for the Colonels, and it's a great stepping stone to some other things. Coach Rybacki said right here last week, what an opportunity, and his team certainly made the best of that opportunity. A good start for the Nicholls Colonels, and we hope that that continues with Troy this upcoming week. Got to take a break. We'll be back after this timeout.
Stay tuned for more Bayou Time Sports, brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. It is my pleasure to have the man of the day here with us. Coach Tommy Rybacki led the Colonels to the big win this past weekend over UIW. A sense of, and we were talking a little bit off the air, Coach, a sense of just everybody sort of having a pep in their step today. So I'll ask you, with that pep in our step that we all have, when do you turn the page? Because I know you got another big one coming up this weekend. Have you allowed the kids sort of to celebrate this to a certain point and maybe practice today is when you turn that page?
Yeah, absolutely. The guys were off yesterday. I know they're still enjoying the win and riding the wave a little bit, but we'll come in this evening, get reorganized, and turn our attention towards Troy.
Let's go back to the game on Saturday. When you are preparing for Troy before this game, did you see it playing out on the field the way it did? UIW. Was UIW what you thought they were?
I think UIW is really a quality football team and was a really good opponent for us on Saturday. Fortunately, we were able to go out there and really play a good brand of football and control the game from start to finish, and we were excited to be able to do that. But to take nothing away from them, they're going to have a great season, and they are still a very good program.
You know, we talked about you being athletic, and I'll start with the defense. And obviously you are athletic, but I have to give some kudos to the guys up front. When you consider what went on up there and them sort of maybe not getting all the accolades related to the statistics, but doing what they had to do. Lovelace up there, all of those guys doing, Johnson up there, making it happen up front. Just a good all-around effort on defense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know this, and everybody in football knows it starts up front. And credit to the defensive line. Coach Rob Snyder coaches our defensive line, did an excellent job preparing those guys. And, man, it's fundamentals through and through, and they work year-round at it. And so it's good to see them have success in the game, playing the way that we play.
Consider statistically that if they don't have that first drive, which you had a little bit of bend but don't break in it, they don't have that first drive. Their statistics are just totally mediocre. It was something that it almost looked like, from the casual observer, like myself in the stands, like you sort of saw something on the first drive and you said, we're going to stop that. They're not going to do that anymore. I don't know if that's the case, but can you say as the game went on, the defense, was it a matter of just being more confident? Was it a matter of maybe some X's and O's that y'all changed some things up?
I think, credit to Coach Monroe and the defensive staff as a whole. They were ready to go, ready to play. And those guys, as the game went on, they got better. And I think that's a credit to our conditioning. for the players to be able to continue to play with the level of effort that they were. That's the strength program. That's the off-season program. Coach Frank Bourgeois does a great job with those guys, preparing them for the season. And then the training staff also just keeping them hydrated throughout the game so that they could play the way they wanted to play. And, that's really what I saw is, our play continued to rise as the game went on. And that was a great advantage for us.
Obviously, the turnover battle was won by you, too. 3 interceptions, a couple of fumble recoveries in there where you really got after UIW in their quarterback. The motion after Ty Morris, which was a very athletic play, where, first of all, he made just such a great play on the ball, but then to come up with the ball and score. Your thoughts at that moment when he did that?
Just proud of him, but my mind immediately went to practice on Friday. Very, very similar play, and he did the exact same thing on Friday. So I'm just thinking, how about that? It happened in the game, same sideline, same area of the field, and just happy for him. Very much a student of the game. He spends a lot of time preparing, and so I know that preparation helped him make that play, and so I'm proud that his effort paid off.
And listen, on the offensive side of the ball, I would imagine you would have hoped y'all could have punched it in a little more, but you did move the ball. And you could see Deuce Hogan getting a little more comfortable. And you could see them giving the defense a little bit more of a break on some drives that ate up a little bit of the clock. Then you sort of have a 3-headed monster at running back, which was kind of cool to see the way you get the power run and you sort of get the finesse run. I would imagine there are a lot of things when you're looking at film, you're very proud of the offense, although it may not have been more than one touchdown in the game, but some things they were doing that were very complimentary actually to the defense, right?
Look, absolutely. Complimentary is the word. Anytime you have a strong defensive performance, people want to give the defense the credit, and it really is a team effort. The offense to be able to possess the ball, move the ball. I thought Coach Fertitta had a great plan along with the offensive staff, and we were able to get some drives together and get some things moving. I thought a critical drive was after Anthony Rogers' interception to be able to turn that thing around, go about 80 yards, score a touchdown to go up 20-6. I thought that was a really big moment in the game, and that came from, again, plays that we saw in practice, those guys getting out there, being able to execute. They did a great job on offense. And I'll say this about Incarnate, that's going to be a strong defensive team throughout the year. When we look back at the end of the season, there's not going to be a bunch of people putting a lot of points on them.
Yep, just a great all-around win for not only your team, obviously, but for the community. It was a terrific afternoon. Getting ready for Troy next week. We're going to talk in another segment a little bit more about Troy. But from the standpoint of having one win under the belt, that is a huge conference rival. It's got to feel pretty good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Big win for us. Great way to start the season, and we want to keep that momentum going.
Very good, Coach. Thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you a little bit more. We'll talk Troy and some other things when we get back right after this message.
Stay tuned for more Bayou Time Sports, brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bayou Time Sports. Again, my pleasure to have here with me Coach Tommy Rybacki, head coach of the Nicholls State Colonels, the 1-0 Nicholls State Colonels. We were talking to Coach Rybacki a little bit about Saturday, all the successes that were out there. Now you turn the page. Now it's Troy. Troy's a mid-major who has a very proud program. At one time, we were mentioning this, played against Nicholls on a yearly basis with the old Gulf South. And now it's a situation where they moved up to bowl series football. Your knowledge, you're from Alabama originally, your knowledge of Troy, and what might we expect from that team this weekend?
Yeah, very, very proud program. When I was growing up in Northern Alabama, Coach Larry Blakeney was the coach, and man, he had a great run there, a lot of great players, and you knew that was a blue-collar program with a proud winning tradition. And then here recently, I mean, they won back-to-back conference championships in the Sun Belt in pretty dominating fashion in 22 and 23. So, they have a lot of good things going their way, and it'll be a challenge for us and one that we're going to prepare for and we'll be ready for.
Very good. I did notice that they have a running back who actually has transferred out. I think he's gone to Ole Miss. They had a quarterback who was their leading passer last year who's at Texas now. But there is a quarterback who's in who was dinged up last year, who may have been the starter for the year for them. So it's not a cupboard bare. They won 4 games last year, but it's a team also. I like your terminology, blue collar, because when we think of Troy here, and you consider that you have Auburn right up the road, and you have so many good colleges in Alabama, obviously the University of Alabama, it's a school that's very successful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they have a good recruiting footprint similar to us in that they're able to get players from areas where football is very important. I know they got a bunch of guys from South Georgia and from that Alabama area that you mentioned. And man, football is important there. Those guys love to play. They play the right way. It's a similar brand of football that we play. And so it's exciting to be able to match up with them.
We talked about all the successes of this past weekend, and I'm not trying to put a damper on anything, because actually there were some bright spots with the special teams. There were some field goals that actually the 2 field goals made were of decent length. It was the short ones, the ones that it's almost like a shortstop play in baseball. It's great when they make those hard plays, but you always want them to make the routine plays, right? The field goals that are inside of 30 yards. Talk about that just a little bit, how that could get stronger. You did have 1 muff punt. So if we're going to nitpick just a little bit, it'll be with special teams, your feelings, and what has to happen to get better there.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say this for all 3 phases. Our job is to identify and fix issues. You know, the first part is identifying whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. What are problem areas? What's the pathway to get them fixed? And then go to work to do it. So there's things in all 3 phases, but to elaborate on special teams, you know, the field goal game, we got to continue to just get reps, continue to practice. We had some operational stuff on one of the kicks that we can improve on and make sure that we prevent that from happening. And then the punts, you know, Pharrell really had a great punt at the end of the first half, one of the better punts that I've seen, the one that the guy muffed. And, you know, although we didn't get points out of the drive, we took an opportunity away from them to be able to get some points before the end of the first half. So that was big for us. And he'll get more consistent as time goes on and he gets more reps. He'll get more comfortable. And, you know, what you saw on that punt is what we've seen all fall camp. And that's really who he is. And so we expect to see a lot more of that.
Yeah, and listen, just a little background story, maybe a little human interest. He is a native of the UK, where he's here, and I'm not sure how that works anymore, because most punters are either coming from Australia or from Europe or whatever. That being said, I'd imagine game time, also a true freshman, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, to be honest, this is his first time ever punting in a game.
Wow. Now that I didn't know.
So Pharrell was a linebacker tight end at the NFL Academy in England, and towards the end of the year, he started to punt the ball. His dad played 15 years in the Premier League, and he started to go to these punting and kicking camps where he did so well. He was ranked in the top 15 in the world as a punter recruit. And so we signed him from the NFL Academy. We got him here in the summer, and he's acclimated well and done a really good job in fall camp. And so I expect some big things out of him moving forward, and we got us a good one in Pharrell.
Yeah, there's no doubt. When you watch him in pregame, I was like, who is this guy? Look at this. It was really, yeah, and he's going to get accustomed a little bit more. I didn't realize it was his first time punting. So kudos, because he did get off a couple of really good ones. I guess consistency is the name of the game there. That being said, it was a wonderful day Saturday. I happened to see you at MASH yesterday, and actually Father JD was out there talking about you and what it means to the university. You have to feel a sense of pride. Obviously 1-0 as a head coach, but the build up to this and what the community did. And there were a lot of people out there on a very hot day. Talk about your feelings after the game. I know it was emotional when you were with JT and those guys. Talk about that day just in general, or the end of that day, I should say.
Yeah, just tons of gratitude. Very appreciative. There's so many people who worked incredibly hard to help make Saturday happen. And I'm just so thankful for those people. Our players are thankful for those people. And then, you know, just grateful for the opportunity. And I know everybody in our program would say the same.
Yep, and you were so humble in Mass, as Father JD was talking about you. I'm looking over and you're just kind of there, but it was nice to see everybody come up and kind of give you a fist bump and tell you congratulations after. And it's a perfect ending to our segment, because we here at HTV want to congratulate you on win number 1, and we look forward to so many more.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stan. I appreciate you all.
That is Coach Tommy Rybacki as they're going to take on Troy 1-0, a big conference win over UIW, and we certainly thank him for his time. Got to take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.